All right, guys. Good morning. So we're here again at Old to New, and just doing another quick video. And this video is about a couple different things. It's about. Let me take a step back. So there was something that came to my attention that I found pretty interesting. An article that I saw that. I thought was interesting, and it's probably gives you an idea of what we're going to see more of in the future. Let me pull this up real quick. See if it will pull up. Okay, Hershey, the chocolate company. So I don't know if you can see that or not. But Hershey seeks CFTC approval to buy huge stockpile of cocoa beans, essentially. And way more than what is allowed, 90,000 metric tons, which would be about 5,000 20-foot containers, which is 9 times the amount the exchange currently allows. So kind of give you an idea. So a massive, massive quantity. Now, at Hershey, believe me, none of this is financial advice. I would not put a dime in Hershey's, but what is pretty interesting and what I've thought is going to be something that we might see in the future is more companies acquiring large amounts of commodities that they need for their business. Kind of give you a thought, as an example, Apple. So Apple, they need an enormous amount of silver. They need an enormous amount of rare earth minerals, copper, and different things for all their electronics. And you could go down the list. Tesla would be another one where you need an enormous amount of silver, lithium, all kinds of different things for their batteries and for, what they manufacture, for their products that they manufacture, whether it's Teslas or whatever. So there are many, many companies that need massive amounts of commodities to run their business. So I think that this may not happen in 2025, but certainly over the next few years, I think we're going to see more companies shift away from buying their own stock, which is what Apple is doing right now, essentially when they have dry powder, so a lot of cash, which they have a ton of cash. But when they have a lot of cash, what they do is they buy their own stock back, so stock buybacks. I think over the next few years, that's going to go away, and companies such as Apple and many others are going to start to stockpile natural resources like silver, like rare earth minerals, like all those types of things. Now, countries are going to do that as well. So as we go into 2025 and over the next few years, we're going to hear, about wars, rumors of wars. It's going to be non-stop. And in my opinion, it's all about resources. We're moving into a high-tech world, sci-fi world, if you will. What things are going to look like 10 years from now are going to be completely different than what they look like today. And in order to get there, there are strategic commodities that are going to be needed for all countries. Now, it's going to be between China and the U.S. as far as who leads, not only over the next decade, but over the next 50 years, 100 years. It's going to be, one of the two. But the winner of that race is probably going to be the country that has the most resources at their fingertips to be able to expand into sci-fi world. So when you're talking, when I say sci-fi, I mean AI, I mean, blockchain, I mean, things like humanoid bots, where those are the robots that Tesla is manufacturing or going to begin manufacturing, where Elon Musk said on a tweet that he could see millions of those being manufactured by the year 2030. Millions. So things are going to look crazy. They're going to look a lot different. I'm not saying that AI, there are pros and cons with AI. Certainly pros and cons. It's going to eliminate a lot of jobs. There's no doubt about it. But it's here. It's here. So these are the trends that I think are going to happen. So resource wars, and I can see that. I don't even know if you guys can see what I wrote on that whiteboard. But anyway, the wars moving forward are going to be not just about oil, which you can argue some of the wars in the past have been about oil. I think they're going to be more about things like rare earth minerals, things like, even silver, which is going to be something that is going to be needed, not only for, electronics, all the things we discussed, but for military equipment as well. I mean, you're going to have a ton of rare earth minerals and a ton of commodities like silver to go into that high-tech military world as well, with high-tech weapons and everything else. So it's very, very important that the U.S. leads the way, and to China, it's very, very important that they lead the way. So, that's what a lot of this stuff is going to be about. So when I look at, Greenland as an example, Trump has been talking about Greenland. He's been talking about how he wants to acquire Greenland or whatever, make it the 51st state, whatever. And he's said it's very strategic, and it is strategic because there's one thing that the U.S. doesn't have. They don't have a lot of rare earth minerals. We have a ton of oil. We have a ton of coal. We have a ton of, natural gas. We have a ton of that kind of stuff, but we don't have a lot of rare earth minerals. And who leads the way with rare earth minerals is China. And China doesn't sell their rare earth minerals to the U.S. They don't. That happened. They stopped that years ago, probably 2, 3, 4 years ago. I'd have to go back, but you can Google it and, check it out. So they don't sell those to the U.S. Well, the second largest supply of rare earth minerals is Greenland. So that's why, in my opinion, why it's such a strategic play to control Greenland, because then you have the rare earth minerals that are going to be required to lead the way into the future. It has to happen. You have to have rare earth minerals if you're going to lead the way. So, kind of interesting. And then one more thing I wanted to mention is, because we're talking about resources, resource wars, and everything else, I want to talk about the Gulf of Mexico, which is pretty funny. So I had someone I know who, reached out and asked me what my opinion was on the Gulf of Mexico, how Trump wanted to change the name to Gulf of America, which is, whatever. It's pretty funny. But I thought, what is the purpose behind that? Because what strategically, what's the purpose? So I don't know. Obviously, I don't have any inside baseball. I'm a guy on the internet. But my thought is it possible that, so let's take a step back. So Biden put in an executive order recently that basically blocked drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. Trump, he clearly wants to drill, baby, drill. I mean, he says it all the time. He wants oil. And quite honestly, I'm okay with cheaper goods. Oil's in thousands of products. It's not going away anytime soon, regardless to what anybody says. It's going to take quite a bit of time for that to shift into any other commodity. Oil's super important for a variety of things, not just to put in your car and drive. And if oil goes down in price, if we get more supply, oil goes down in price, everything gets cheaper. So, I'm okay with cheap oil, I got to be honest. But so if there's an executive order in place that you can't drill in the Gulf of Mexico, well, if you change the name from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, well, you're not drilling in the Gulf of Mexico anymore. You're drilling in the Gulf of America. So it's drill, baby, drill. So I really think that, and it's hilarious, quite, I mean, if this is the idea or the strategy, it's kind of funny. But so I think that it's possible that the reason why he wants to change the name is so he can say, well, listen, we're not drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. It's the Gulf of America. Drill, baby, drill. And I think that's it. So guys, that's it. That's, I think, what I wanted to talk about today on this video. And, subscribe, share. Obviously this channel is still pretty new to me. We'll see, how much traction we get over time. But I'm doing it because I enjoy it. and that's it. So, but thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye.